Hello, everyone. Good morning. It's 9:47 because of technical difficulties with LinkedIn. LinkedIn is what it is. I'm TK and this is Coach on the Rocks, but hopefully I didn't make you wait too long. So, I've read an interesting report by a company actually working with technical solutions on employee reviews and performance reviews. And what I was astonished to see is there is still so much gender bias in the review process. Essentially, what happens is women are being far more, like really significant percentage numbers, reviewed and given feedback based on their personality traits, not necessarily purely on their performance compared to men. And the report and other publications referring to it call it an unconscious bias. Tell you what, I don't think the person giving this feedback or people giving this feedback are unconscious. I think this is a hurtful euphemism. I think that these people actually, unfortunately, are quite biased, these managers giving the feedback, and, based on stereotypes, are unfortunately treating women differently in performance reviews than men. Now, you might argue that they're not doing it out of spite or any, malicious evil intent, but it's not unconscious. It's definitely conscious. Some of them might not know any better. Some might know and think it's a good thing because, women need to be fed back on their personality because they're so emotional and dramatic. Like, what the hell? It's 2024, right? Even not that. Like, how on earth so many people are still able to have such a huge gender bias and treat people so unfairly? It's just beyond my thinking. I was so shocked seeing the results. I think it is difficult to see that, right? But if you work in HR, you need to call it out. You need to actually see if this bias exists in the organization. If it's as profound as the report quoted shows, it probably does exist in your organization. Now, the challenge is obviously, I mean, it's not an obvious challenge, but the HR profession is also a bit biased, and there's a lot of women in there, and it just exacerbates the challenge of how do you feed back to these managers that they're doing things absolutely wrong. That's completely unfair to do this. And, I'm sure that my listeners understand the reasons why such a bias is not only unproductive, but for me, deeply disturbing. What I will say is this. I think, because of this bias, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? Feeding back on this bias might reinforce it in some people. So this is why I think allyship is so important, right? People that are cutting through the bias, men that these people respect, need to speak out. I'm speaking out here. If you're a guy that actually is giving out performance reviews, think if you have men and women in your team that you're reviewing performance, think about your biases. Please do reflect. And you know what? In life, we all make mistakes. It's okay, right? But in my personal experience, an apology and an acknowledgement that, hey, I've reflected on that might help. And even if you look, right, if you can't afford it, if you're not there yet to be able to speak out about it, about your own mistakes, at least don't make them again, right? Have a look at the company's report. Have a think about your own performance reviews and see what you can do there. And for all my wonderful friends and colleagues in the HR profession, do your best to inform. Do your best to, maybe when it comes to new managers, they're a bit more susceptible to that. They need to know. They just need to know that it's unfair and there is still so much bias going on. I'm sorry for all that. I was shocked by the numbers, and I hope that we will get better with time. But it's one step at a time, one person at a time, making sure to speak out that it is just unfair. I will see you tomorrow for the next episode of Coach on the Rocks, hopefully with no LinkedIn technical problems this time. Bye bye.